record button, and when we gathered last week, um, everybody had come right off the cusp of a fight, and then players went to go enjoy a little bit of a festival. Joshua got into a unwarranted scuffle with one of a trio, and he imparted some wisdom to them about getting in over their heads, trying to be adventurers, trying to get wrapped up in things they didn't really understand. Ice and Angela had a little conversation about the future and gaining power and whatnot. And Angela received a call from her assistant, and she went back to questioning. And she asked Ice to take her place until she got back. And as Ice was having his little scuffle, not Ice, as Joshua was having his little scuffle, Ice noticed a humanoid-like figure maneuvering about in the water. And after a few minutes of trying to get a hold of said figure, he managed to make the figure stop moving in its tracks. And he spoke to him very briefly, but the only useful pieces of information I just managed to acquire was that the person was named Bazad, and that this Bazad person lived alone. Any other question that Ice would ask, it was either completely ignored or the question was dodged. Regardless, once all that was said and done, Ice went to go have he attempted to go have a small conversation with Mayor, but their conversation was very quickly cut short as he got a call from Angela, and Angela, in a angry but heightened tone, said to put the entire village on lockdown immediately, and hung up without explanation. And this is where we will resume our story now.
Get to hear some sirens.
Yeah, let me turn those back on. Because some sirens did definitely go off. Are they here? No. Where are they? Here it is. So as the village is entering lockdown, of the people that you can see around you, they are very slowly beginning to enter into a panic. Save for Tyr, Fiend, Ifrit, and Adam, barkeep and his wife. Everyone else that you can see and lay eyes on, they are not accustomed to this kind of thing, these kind of situations. And you can very slowly see in the distance a series of magical walls slowly rising up from, you assume, to be the ground, the bottom of the the bottom of the ocean where you currently are in the docks. And as they rise, they slowly begin to encapsulate the village in the form of a ball-like shape. And as this is going on, if there's any interactions you wish to have, you may have them now.
Alrighty then. Let's get started. First thing I'm gonna run to Ifrit, ask what's the whole commotion? Are we under attack? Why is there blast shields going up?
Well, this can mean one of four things. The first and the least threatening one is that someone managed to worm their way into the village, is trying to do something that would result in multiple people getting hurt. And thus, I do believe we're about to go on a small hunt to figure out who and where they could be. The second option is that someone or something could be leading an attack on the village, and that could be happening 5 minutes from now, 5 hours from now, 5 days from now. Don't know the time frame. The third option is that there could be some form of a virus or a cultist of sort who made their way into the village and they need to be found. Or the fourth option, which I really hope isn't the case, either there is a large abundance of evil and demonic energy that needs to be contained immediately, or someone got a little too ahead of themselves and decided to resurrect someone incredibly dangerous. And I really hope it isn't the fourth option. So, before you ask, I don't know any specifics. I'm going to wait to be contacted by someone before I take action. And, well, if a fight just so breaks out, you know where I'll be.
Well, if this is as bad as you say it is, we should prioritize evacuating the civilians. Get them somewhere safe.
Yeah, you're right on that. And the safest place, believe it or not, would be the village square, because the last time this kind of thing happened, the village square was the most defended place here, and the least defended place was to the what was it, the northeast sector of the village. That was only because it had the smallest amount of people there. However, the barriers in the village square are, how can I put this? If I were trying to attack the village and I wasn't holding back, they would be incredibly difficult for me to break through. And as a comparison, I could... This isn't really a good thing for me to say, but at the snap of a finger, I could raise this entire village to the ground if need be.
Sweats. Right. Alright, good thing that you're on our side then.
Yeah, I like mortals, so I don't have any reason to be against them. Anything else?
Yashua literally just takes his hands and just claps his face cheeks twice just to ready up. And then he runs over to the kids and just tells them to get to the, what was it, Central Square,
Village Square, yeah.
Village Square.
Shakily, they respond and they steel themselves together as best as they can, and they, as a group, make their way over there. And
Is there like a megaphone I could use so I could like notify everyone to run towards the uh Central Square of the village?
no, you don't have to. Uh, everyone who isn't everyone who isn't here and like doesn't really have a visual representative, they've already made their way to the village square. Okay. And so, once you properly get people evacuated and those who haven't left, they're just standing guard looking over the place, and you can see Tyr and Fiend leaving the docks but not heading towards the village square. Uh-oh. Just move them on over yonder. Okay. There's any interactions you want to have with these two? Go for it.
Mel wants to talk, but she's texting.
Yeah.
Stage is yours.
Oh, we're not hesitant or anything. We're just making sure that nothing is in the water or coming from any of the villages, or rather, this area in particular is blind spots. Uh, you can't really say what's going on because, well, we don't know. But given that the alarm sirens have been going for much longer than normal, something pretty bad is probably about to happen. What are you rolling insight for? Um, there is there is genuinely nothing in the water.
I feel like this threat may be coming from inside the village. Something to do with the interrogation that Angela was doing. Something must have happened.
Well, you can ask about other things, but as far as anything being in the water, there's actually nothing in the water. And that wouldn't be insight to be rolled, you'd be rolling a perception because you're trying to see something.
Yeah, something does feel off. We should go check on Angela because I'm more concerned about the interrogation, how that went, because something must have happened.
Okay, well, assuming that all of you are about to make your way to the village square yourselves, as you all make your way towards that direction, a mayor approaches and stops you and he says, all of you, and that means Joshua, Ice, and Mel, come with me to the tavern. There's something you need to see, and there's a conversation that you need to be a part of.
Copy.
Okay. So I'm gonna do a whole little maparoo change. Do that.
I love how Ice is always upside down.
And
It always gives me a chuckle.
he never
He's
turns his
doing like
token
push-up
around.
handstands.
All right. So, excuse me. Mayor comes inside. He checks all the windows. He checks all the tables. He checks the flooring.
The hole on the wall there.
And no, that hole is fixed. That hole isn't there anymore. And he checks every nook and cranny just to make sure that no one and no thing is here. And then he motions you all to come over to the lower right side of the tavern. And he says, quickly, there is no time. We have to be swift. And he places his hand on this mounted candle, and he pulls a lever. And in this seemingly looking staircase right here, you suddenly begin to see what looks like small bursts of light coming out of it. And the closer you look at it and peer your head down, you can see that there is a small portal inside of the stairwell.
What? Wait! Just jump behind her.
Mayor doesn't even try to stop any of you as you all just pile into it. And as you all step through the portal, you aren't walking on any solid surface. You are quite literally walking on air. And the space around you is this wispy, windy looking void type of area.
What is it, like the Assassin's Creed loading screen?
No.
Just walking on nothing?
No. It's more along the lines of the PSO2 loading screens.
Ah.
Yeah. So
Woo!
you all are walking through that,
Photon tunnels.
and after a few more seconds of walking straight ahead, and you're unsure why, but you feel compelled to walk straight and only straight ahead. And by the time you finish walking, you see another portal. And when you come out of that portal, the first person you see is Angela. Why, hello there, my faithful little adventurers, parties, newcomer. There's not a lot of time.
I just blast out of the portal.
Yeah.
I
There's
nearly crashed, but I stick the landing.
there's not a lot of time that I have to explain things. Just know that this is the place that I made up as a child. And whenever I was having not so great of a time, I would come here and just watch the water and watch the cherry blossoms just dance along in the wind. But I now use this place as a containment cell slash prison because I've come to realize that, well, anyone with any shred of evil or negativity in their heart, they very quickly become unable to move or defend themselves, and the only thing that they can do is talk. And if I cast a few spells here and there, they will be ultimately forced to tell me the truth, the absolute truth, and nothing but the truth. And because of that truth I found out, that is why I had Mayor hit the alarms. Because it's not good. At all. So, if you would, please follow me. And as you begin walking, you can hear some very faint music in the air. And when I say faint, it's like barely audible, but the sound fills you with a minor sense of dread and worry. And as you're following behind Angela, you all pretty much have the same thought that it would be nice to take in the sights here if it wasn't such a dire situation, or potential dire situation right now. Oh, do be careful not to fall into the water.
Is there something in the water I should know about?
It is colder than the strongest blizzard spell in existence. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh,
If you
nice.
touch that water, you will be frozen to death immediately.
Absolute zero.
Okay. So, as you all finish following Angela over, you can see Dreva and Ash and Priya. Two of them were, for those that don't remember, were the ones who played that song that filled the entire tavern with a sense of unease and pretty much disrupted the mood of that section of the festival. And Priya was the one that you all fought, who, before battle began, stated something about being resurrected and that she should be dead, but she's not, and how she is going to snuff out the light, as she so eloquently put. And after you finish looking at them directly, you happen to notice a few different spectral swords surrounding them. Though Priya has two of them on her, and you assume that's because she is a dangerous threat. But you don't know that yet. And so, Angela begins to speak. Okay. So, the reason that I had Mayor hit the alarms and bring all of you here is because I used a spell called Confession on them, and I forced them to tell me the truth immediately when they woke up. The one to the left, she is more or less completely innocent in all this. She had no knowledge that Dreva was a adventurer of the past who tried to take down Devourer, and she took it upon herself to fix all of the wrongs in the world. And Priya was also with her. However, well, I'll get to the part of that explanation later. Dreva, on the other hand, due to some unfortunate circumstances that led up to her having a complete and total personality shift, she was able to invoke her magic through song. And what she was trying to do with that song of hers, which was a spell in disguise, she was trying to make it so that the mortal spirit of bravery and determination was to be slowly over time snuffed out and eradicated, in order to, as she put it when I dragged it out of her, bring an end to any and all heroes. Because she herself no longer has even a specter of hope in them, a specter of hope in general. And so she felt it reasonable to try and take away that hope from everyone else she came into contact with. And as for the individual, she says with a angry, smug smile as she points at Priya, this one is the sole culprit. And instead of explaining it, I'll just have it come out of her mouth. And Angela snaps her fingers. A few sparkles of light appear around Priya, and she starts talking. Well, as you know, as I said when I attacked all of you, and I tried to take your lives, yes, I am dead. I shouldn't be here right now. And time-wise, I should have been dead for about 20 Palamecian years. However, my hair is white, my eyes are red, my skin is gray, and I look like I've aged about a few thousand years. And that's because there wasn't just a single set of adventurers who came here before you cretins. There have
Rude.
been several. And I mean enough to fill a few hundred years. Several adventures before all of you. And, well, most of them are dead. A lot of them have been reanimated. However, of the ones that have been reanimated, they are very quickly reaching their time limit. And of the ones that aren't, they've had ways of prolonging their time. And that dark crystal you took off my body, that's one of the methods that they use to extend their lifespan. And when used correctly, by a reanimated adventurer, since that's what you want to call yourselves. They can, in a sense, store their life force and store their memories in said crystal, and when they just so happen to die, instead of returning to the ether, that crystal that they have breaks, and they are once again alive. And the method they go about doing that is, well, killing people, taking their lives, taking their life energy, filling it with so much animosity and despair and horror until once pure soul becomes utterly corrupt. And then it is ours for the taking. And, well, before I was dragged here, and before you all took the ones that I had, I actually have two of them. The one I dropped, and the other is, well, literally embedded in me. And no matter what you do, you can kill me, you can burn me, you can mutilate me, you can do whatever you want. But when it's time for me to die, I'm coming right back. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
So
And
I could kill you twice.
when I expire, my master will immediately take notice of it. And before you realize it, this little village of yours, this little corner of peace and prosperity and happiness in life, will be eradicated without a second thought. And if you all think yourself strong enough to stop him, well, I'd love to see you try. And before Priya continues on with her next sentence, Dreva speaks up and she starts crying and pleading for the old Priya that she knew to come back. Her war buddy, her comrade, her friend. She asked, "Where's my friend? What happened to her? Who are you and why are you in her body? Get out, please." And Priya just looks at her and she thinks, I hate you. I have always hated you. You thought, oh, everything's bad. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna do what I can to take out Devour. I wanna help people. I wanna make the world a better place. Always
Angsty.
running off, trying to do every little thing you could. Always running off, trying to help some poor helpless wench. Anytime they looked sad or anything, it sickened me. It was so frustrating watching you waste so much time trying to be everyone's little ray of sunshine, trying to help everyone. You are so frustratingly naive that I wanted you dead so bad. But I put up with you because I was the only one in the group who couldn't stand you. And because the only other reason I didn't kill you on the spot spot was because you were in a relationship with someone in our party. And while that part I don't care for, at least the old me had enough care for the other person that it didn't just kill you. We were never friends. We were never comrades. We were just associates. Associates working towards the same worthless, futile goal. And look at where it got us. It got me killed. And you ran away like a little bitch. Once this is over, and I know I'm going to see you again, I am going to kill you. And as Priya finishes speaking, and Dreva is a hysterically sobbing mess, you can feel a sizable wave of heat coming off of Angela as she is quite angry at what she just heard. And she raises her fist and she just tightens it a little bit. And the other two swords that are by by Ash and Dreva suddenly move, and the blades are now spinning in a synchronized circle, very lightly tracing Priya's neck. And Angela speaks. You will not speak like this in my domain ever again. Do you understand me? I don't care how many times you can resurrect yourself. I don't care how many times you and everyone from the past can return from the dead. I don't care about the threats you make and the ones that you think are threats. Because let me tell you this. The moment anyone, and I so sincerely mean anyone, threatens my home, I don't care who is around. I don't care if I don't have a single ounce of backup. You have to deal with me. And rest assured, a fight with me will definitely be your last. And when she finishes that sentence, she is now radiating so much energy to the point where all of you physically recoil from its intensity.
So what should we do now?
You can ask any question you want. This is interaction time. Or you can make any comment you want. Mel, is that a legitimate question? I really hope it isn't. Okay.
It was. Well then. Angela, how shall we proceed? I don't think killing her won't be much use.
Well, that is true.
I also don't want to see what happens if we kill her twice.
Well, when we kill her twice, that Why don't I just show you? Angela approaches Priya, grabs the center of her shirt, and just rips it off. And where a mortal chest should be, it's just a giant crystal embedded in the center of her body.
What?
That's one of those crystals that she was talking about. You have one. Yashua gave his to Joe, which was a very smart decision. I advise you do the same.
This one's larger than the one I had.
Yeah. Before I called you all here, I dragged it out of her using reasonable amounts of violence. And, long story short, the larger the crystal, the more negativity and animosity inside of it. And the larger the crystal a person has, the more times they can return from the beyond. However, as I'm sure someone in the village told you, you shouldn't ever attempt to invoke the power within the crystal, because it will kill you. There's no getting around it. And Joe contacted me and told me he was in the process of purifying one of them. So I advise you that if you still have yours, to please give it to him. I don't want to think about what would happen if any of you were affected by it. I really, really don't.
Purification. Hold on. If we could purify a crystal, is it possible to purify her?
That is a question that I don't have the answer to.
We could purify the crystal within her, possibly being able to purify her as well.
Well, I would like to say that that's a good idea. However, Angela snapped her fingers again. Any attempts to purify... Priya speaking, by the way. Any attempts to purify me will result in my immediate death. And I will not come back. So yeah. Purification for her is out of the question. Because there's still information that I want to get out of her. And her being dead does not help.
And that's not worth the risk, I agree.
Angela eventually calms herself down a bit, and she stops radiating energy. She looks to Ash and she says, "I heard your story, kid. You want to leave? It's fine by me. You had absolutely no say in any of this, and you may want to be careful who you decide you want to tour and start a music career with." And she releases the shackles, or the magic shackles, that Ash is in, and she falls to the ground, and she stands up and looks at everyone here, and instead of leaving, she walks over to Angela and she says, "If there's anything I can do to help, please allow me. I just wanted to play some music, and I didn't know that I would be getting involved in some otherworldly, supernatural death reincarnation bullshit. Please, if there's even the smallest thing I can do to help, please let me. And Angela looks at her, and she says, I'll think about it. But for now, go stand away from here. And Ash looks in the direction that Angela's pointing, and she goes and takes a seat and stares into the water. You can interact with Ash later, but not now. As for you, Little Miss Songstress, she looks at Dreva, and she walks over and she grabs her by the collar, and she says, once this is all over, I never want to see you anywhere near my village again. Do you understand? And mind you, Dreva is still a hysterical mess, crying her eyes out as she just heard the irrefutable truth from Priya. And as she's crying, Angela raises a finger. She places it on Dreva's shoulder, and you see what appears to be a rune appear on it. And Angela speaks again. The moment you even think about coming back here, that mark I just put on your shoulder will ignite, and it will fill you with such a searing and agonizing pain that you perish the thought. Clean yourself up, shut up, and get out. And I mean, the moment we leave this place, get the hell out of my village. And then she drops her. Dreva doesn't even bother trying to pick herself up as she's still crying. And through her tears, Dreva says to Priya, there's no way that any of what you said was true, because we've had laughs, we've cried together, we've mourned people together. You were happy that Bazad and I were planning out our engagement. You supported us. You supported me. You taught me everything I know. And you mean to tell me that all this time you hated me? You never cared about me? Did I stutter, you useless brat? And out of desperation and panic, Dreva stands to her feet and immediately begins running towards this cliff with the intent of jumping inside the water.
Oh shit. Can I roll
If
to
you're,
stop her?
I need you to roll athletics.
Oh shit. No. I have to roll athletics.
Oh, well, alright. Mel runs right up behind her and grabs her arm and stops her just as she was about to jump. Let me go. Please. I don't want to be here anymore.
Holy shit. Hug her. Comfort her.
Why are you stopping me? I know what I was doing. I told you to give up. I I told you I hated you. For no reason. Unprompted. Just leave me alone. Let me seal my own fate. Since someone who I thought cared for me never cared for me at all. And was the only family I had when I got here. All those years ago. She turns and she looks at you. Her eyes are glowing in rage. And she says, "How can you say you care for me when you haven't even known me for over 3 hours? You can't care for someone you just met, who treated you with utter disrespect, who went out of their way to cast a spell on you to turn you into an apathetic piece of shit."
Fucking ice. Dude, that'll be funny if he didn't say that out of character.
Well,
You
you really think my life worth saving that much? I've already nearly died once. And the only reason I'm still alive was because I ran away and left everyone else behind because I was a coward. That guilt has been eating away at me every single day since then. And I was just told that if I'm ever caught here again, I'll be killed. So why not do her a favor and take myself out? I heard her say how cold this water was, and I'd freeze to death immediately. Let me go. Trevor gets angrier and angrier with every single word that Mel is saying. Okay, sure. You don't care. I do. I'm still struggling to deal with the the cries of agony I hear in my sleep. The sleepless nights I have because I can't not see the visions and the images of my friends being cut, torn, mutilated, burned, shot, beaten. Dreva slowly begins to hyperventilate, but then she calms herself down and she stops. There's been so many things I've lost, and it's all because, as Priya said, I wanted to be everyone's little ray of sunshine and fix things that were far out of my control, and look where it got me. Look at where I am. I have nothing anymore. You don't know me, and you're trying so hard to help me. And I didn't ask for your help.
Yashua speaks up. What is wrong with helping those that are in need? You were placed in an unfair situation. Running away? What's wrong with running away? It just proves that there are things that you cannot do. Run away to fight another day. Do not let mistakes weigh you down. Acknowledge them and take what you learn to move on. You're still alive because there is some strength still in you.
Dreva, her eyes flicker in brightness for a split second, but long enough for you all to notice. And she attempts to come up with a rebuttal, but every time she opens her mouth, she cuts herself off. And before long, she casts her gaze away from the both of you as she remembers that these are things that she once said to someone else who happened to be suicidal because of things mostly out of her control. And as she thinks that, she again begins to cry. And at this point, she is bawling and shouting random words of apologies and how she shouldn't have done what she did or what she tried to do. And she falls to her knees and she eventually is face down on the ground, crying and shivering, trembling, shaking. It's so bad to the point where her teeth are clattering, and she just lies there like that. Okay, so
Yashua takes off his jacket and just puts it over her. And now he's revealing some of his armor.
okay, so action-wise, Mel is holding Dreva. She's crying her soul out at this point, and Yashua is currently jacketless, and you can see his armor. Okay. As that is taking place, like during that entire interaction, Priya has been cackling like a witch in the background because she finds this entire ordeal to be absolutely hilarious. And ooh, excuse me. As she is laughing, the longer she laughs, you just happen to look over, and there are now more swords surrounding her, and 3 of them are aimed at her neck, and the other 3 are aimed at her head. She is quite literally surrounded by swords right now. And you can tell by Angela's facial expression that she wants nothing more than to just close her fist and eviscerate her. But she doesn't. Priya is surrounded by swords. You think this is real funny, don't you? Yeah, I do. I've always gotten a kick out of seeing fools like her become encapsulated by, things of despair and hopelessness. The reason I find it so funny is because when I died the first time, I watched her run away. And when I found myself alive again via reincarnation, I had been following her around for quite a while. And watched her travel, watched her go from village to village. And I've seen her taint so many people. She was such a depressive little wretch that it was the most entertaining thing in existence for me. Watching her turn into a shell of herself, watching the old her be replaced with the real her, a despair-ridden, suicidal freak, was oh so delectable. And seeing all those villages and cities that she played her music by, and watching them all turn into apathetic devotion, braveryless sacks of flesh, was so sick and twisted that it made my day. Because that waste of time over there thought she was going around and helping people by taking away their will to do things, to be better, to be brave. How can anyone not find that hilarious? And watching her beg for forgiveness, knowing what she's done, is so hypocritical that I can't help but laugh and take pleasure in the fact that she's trying so hard to be remorseful. And after Priya finishes talking, all of you are looking at her in a mixture of shock and frustration. Meanwhile, Angela's face has gone from that of anger to an unreadable expression, but you can tell that body language wise, she is more pissed off than before. And before you realize it, two of the swords trade places with each other, and they ram straight through Priya's body. She's not dead by any means, but there is a very obvious hole where her stomach should be. Angela takes a real deep breath, and as she exhales, the wind in the area seemingly picks up speed by a lot. And Angela repeats, like I said earlier, I want so badly to kill you where you hang. But that won't help anyone. However, what I am going to do is that since you like to psychologically and emotionally torture people, and how your leg hasn't stopped trembling ever since you had 2 of my blades around you, I can see in your eyes that you have a crippling fear of mutilation and physical harm. You think I can't see those magic stitches on your arms, fingers, legs, and knees? You think I can't tell that you've been pieced back together from the mangled and torn asunder mess that you were before you were reanimated? So, let's play a game. Angela takes one of the conjured swords in her hand and she points it right at Priya's eye. Every time you open your mouth with some bullshit, I'm going to remove a piece of your body. It's like a real fucked up version of Hangman. And I think I'm going to start with your eyes. So, if you decide you want to speak, be real careful with what you say. Otherwise, you're just going to be nothing but parts all over again. And as Angela has a sword pointed at Priya's eye, you can see her facade break as, even though she is hanging in place, she is violently shaking in fear. Because yes, upon further inspection, after Angela mentions the magic stitches around her body, you can see very faint, grayed out markings on very specific parts of her body. They look like tattoos, but now that Angela mentioned stitches, you can very quickly piece together that yes, she was indeed mutilated and torn apart in multiple pieces. And it fills you with a very large sense of unease and disturbance.
That's creepy.
Sorry, lads. Mama Angela doesn't normally get this violent and threatening. But, well, when the situation calls for it, it must be done. I guarantee you I am not like this all the time. In fact, just to make things a little easier to process for you, this is the 3rd time in my entire life I've had to get like this. If that makes you feel any better.
You don't have to explain, I get it. There are moments where you have to become a monster yourself. I've been through that too.
Yeah, there's been plenty of times in my long life where I've heard the phrase from some very specific people: you either die a hero or live long enough to become a villain. And, well, in a lot of people's eyes, especially in the business world, I'm their villain. And, well, ain't shit I can do about that, really. The fact of the matter is that I was successful and they weren't. But this isn't about me right now. And Priya says, are you sure about that? And the moment Priya finishes saying the word R, Angela is immediately directly in front of her with the sword in hand, pointed at her.
Yikes.
What was that? You want to speak up? And Priya looks at the sword, and her breath hitches, and then she says, you know, are you sure this isn't about you right now? Because, well, you've been doing a lot of talking, and every chance you get, you mention something, whether it be about yourself or other people. And something tells me that you're more frustrated about this than you let on. What? Are you scared that one of your loved ones is gonna bite it? Are you scared that someone's going to get captured and have to go through the same shit I did? Or are you just putting on a facade and convincing yourself that things will be okay? And Angela lets her speak. And after she finishes speaking, Angela backs up to the other cliff. She takes a position as if she was about to go on a sprint. And you all blink. And the next thing you hear are screams of agony coming from Priya as you look at her, and there is a sword in her eye. And Angela lets go of the blade, leaving it in her, and she says aloud, "Listen, bitch. If I was scared of my loved ones being killed, I wouldn't be as calm as I was right now. And you want to sit here and talk about the shit you've been through, the death you've gone through, the death you've had to experience. Kid, I've been through so much shit in my life that if I was even the smallest modicum of weak, I wouldn't be here. I have lost enough people in my lifetime to where the thought of death doesn't scare me anymore. I'll have you know that before I met the people that I know now, before I got to where I was now, I was a soldier. And I watched everyone I knew and loved die. So let me put it to you like this. Angela grabs a sword, rips the sword out, and on the tip of the sword is indeed Priya's eye. And the screamings of pain from her got worse. You are far, far too late to be making threats of killing the people I love. Because I've gone through that 3 times already. And besides, you are too goddamn weak to even stand a chance against me. Whether you release the power in that crystal or not, I can blow you away with the snap of a finger. So, anything else you want to say? And as Angela finishes that, she goes back to when she was standing originally, and she leaves the sword right in front of Priya. Eye still pierced through on the tip, as she leaves Priya to scream in pain.
If I were in your place, I would have taken both eyes.
I thought about it. I did. But I figure since that was the one that was stitched back into her, might as well start with that one. And as Priya is screaming, she utters the word, "Master, help me." And then the winds stop. The music stops. Angela again teleports right in front of her. And as she does that, she's pulled the three of you along with her. Dreva included, since she is still currently being held by Mel. And she says, "Master, who? Who are you talking about? Speak." And Angela casts the confession spell again, and Priya speaks. "My master's name is Garland. He was one of the adventurers, one of the would-be heroes that came here hundreds and hundreds of years ago. He was the one who brought me back and reanimated me, because he took pity on me. He's the one who directly works under the Devourer, the guy you have all been working towards trying to kill. He is incredibly strong, and he knows everything that's been happening so far. And he will waste no time killing you and everyone else here. He once thought himself to be the strongest, the greatest. He tried to do everything on his own, and he got pretty far. But then he got into an encounter with a vehemently demonic being, and he engaged in battle, and he lost, and it broke him. And he still believes himself to be a hero, and he's been gathering souls for years to amass an army and right his wrong, as he puts it. And he has been continually invoking the forces of darkness and evil to do so. And he's almost done. The world will bow under his might, and everyone regardless of what they want, will join his cause. And my master, Garland, will be the hero, the true hero that this wretched dimension needs. And if he were to fail, well, all of you are fucked. None of you will be able to stop him. And if you want to try, I will tell you where he is, just so that you can all rush straight to your deaths. It's going to be such a wonderful sight watching you all dip. As she's about to finish her sentence, she freezes. Not through ice magic, but she is physically frozen. As if someone casted the time stasis spell on her. And that large crystal in her begins to pulsate. And you can see lightning crackling around inside of it. And her body is beginning to spasm at an incredibly frantic rate. And her eyes they've lost all color. And she rises into the air, and the lightning in the crystal is beginning to shoot out from its source. And before anything is said or done, the swords that were around Priya follow her into the air. And they all close in on her and effectively lock her in place to where she can't move. However, her body is beginning to glow and glow brighter and brighter and brighter. And she starts screaming, "No, stop. No, please. I don't want to die. Don't do this. Please spare me. Don't. Please, I won't fail again." And
She's gonna self-destruct. Everyone hit the deck!
And as she begins to speak, or rather, as she is beginning to plead for her life to seemingly no one, all movement in her body stops. The darkness within the crystal vanishes, and all functions of life within Priya's body has ceased. And as the body falls to the ground, you can see what appears to be her soul coming out of it. And the last thing you hear from it is Garland's lair is to the far north of this place. I am a creature that should have been dead a long time ago. And she looks at Dreva and she says to her, I'm not going to apologize for what I said, because it was the truth. However, what I will apologize for is pretending to be your friend for so long. Garland needs to be dealt with sooner rather than later. And I very much recommend that all of you get as strong as you possibly can and be as rested as possible, because the moment you slip up, that will spell your downfall against him. And do not challenge him recklessly. And that is the last thing she says before her soul vanishes completely. Priya is now properly dead. And the only thing left of her is her corpse on the ground. Angela dispels all of her swords, and she says aloud, God damn it. Out of all the things that could have happened, that just had to be one of them. I'd probably gotten all the information I was going to get out of her anyway, but this is not good. And you can see Angela standing in place. Her arms are folded, but she has her chin on her hand as she's trying to figure out and make sense of everything she was just told. And you can hear her quietly muttering the name Garland to herself over and over and over and over again. Any interactions you want to have, you can do that.
Garland. All we got was a name and location, but I feel like we're blind here.
If you feel blind, well, this isn't gonna do you any good. But Garland is the name of a man that I once fought in a war. And at the time, he was strong enough to take down an army of 300 all by himself. I can only imagine how much stronger he's gotten since then. However, this may not be the same Garland, because I know two men by that name. The first of which was when I fought in the war. The second, well, I haven't seen in some time. But that one was a very strange individual. Regardless, it's time we get out of here. and fill my husband in on everything we just learned. If you would like to spend a few extra minutes here, feel free to do so. But I need to go report all of this. And with that, Angela goes to the portal that you all came out of, and she leaves.
To say no, I wasn't kidding about pocketing Pyrrha's body. Also, still suffering from the headache, but it's a bit better now.
There's nothing to take off of her.
No, I said I'm pocketing her body itself. I'm not
You're
stealing
putting-
from her.
You are putting her body in your inventory?
Yes,
Why?
reasons.
Bullshit.
Before you do that,
There's actually reasons. You'll see it later, Ricky. There's nothing evil. There's nothing evil.
I know you can't see my face, but like, I am so heavily questioning you right now that I'm gonna allow it.
Yeah.
what? What?
Delete her icon. She's in my back pocket.
You're
However-
gonna no.
Y'all, Rick's character was gonna say something, so say what you were gonna say. But I'm looking at you with a real sus eye, homie.
My character just wanted to inspect the body to see if he could learn something out of it. But to no avail, he can't figure anything out. Not without, the equipment he has back at home, or had. I don't have anything to do with his body right now.
I mean, even
Ice,
then,
what are
even
you
if-
doing?
I was about to say, out of character, even then, even if you did dissect her and think, like, it's still foreign knowledge, even to me, huh?
No, it's not that I want to dissect her. I just want to copy her neurons and see what we could learn, but can't do that here.
You're sus of me, Ricky. He's over here wanting to copy Neuron.
Because that's
No.
how you extract information.
No, you can't do that. You already got all the information out of her that you could.
Yeah, exactly. But, not having the tech, you can't do it. Period. That's
Well, through Angela casting confession on her, that was her spilling the beans about everything. Like, there is literally nothing else to gain from Priya knowledge-wise.
her experiences, her spells, all that. You're literally copying all of her knowledge. But yeah, I can't do that here. Not in this world. It's just something that Yasha was thinking of, but said, nah, can't do that here.
Well, everything that she knew spell-wise, you all have the ability to learn at some point. But as far as just straight up copying her, no. But as for this psycho motherfucker over here pocketing a whole ass corpse,
I'm not surprised you approved of me putting a corpse in. I'll keep that in mind in the future.
I promise this is the only time I'm gonna let you get away with this. 'Cause
Oh.
I want to see what you're gonna do with this. I really,
will.
really do.
Isis off
If
to
you
go.
turn it into a combat golem, I'm gonna be impressed.
Isis off to do his business. I was sending you the message of what Isis is gonna do.
Now, as Ice, you should take a sample out of this absolute zero water here.
If you touch that water, you will die. Whoops, I deleted the wrong token.
I thought I touched it and died. I'm all like, oh, there I go.
I deleted the wrong token on accident. My bad.
Just
I'm all like, oh,
instantly gone.
touch the water, Dad. Well, GG, guys.
Anyway, let me just put you back. There you go.
So Angela said this water, if make direct contact, insta dead. But what if I don't touch it directly,
It's a shame
But
you
you-
don't have mage hand.
but I use a medium to make contact? What would happen to said medium?
Oh.
That medium will become frozen.
Yeah,
And if
that's
you
it.
touch that frozen thing, you too will become frozen.
That's a Ricky question.
This
I stopped
liquid could
myself.
make a very, very powerful explosive.
Not even Angela touches the water, and she made the place.
And yet there's fishes swimming in there.
No, there aren't.
Yeah, look, there's like a fish right there.
Those
fish
are
right
not
there.
fish.
Fish right there. Fish right there.
Those
Okay,
are
fine.
not fish.
Okay, fine. Sharks. Piranhas. Sharks. Angels
They
of
are
terror.
not living organisms.
So it's just clear water. Nothing in it.
There's like leaves and petals and shit in it, but it's more or less just really agonizingly cold water.
Ice. Could you pour some
Ice
of that?
already left.
He's not here anymore. He went back through the portal.
Damn it. I was gonna ask him to use his container to put some in there.
What container? You expect him to use a chest and scoop it? It's gonna get
It,
frozen
it's a
still.
platinum chest. I'm sure it could take the coldness.
You seem I have more. I don't.
Mm.
Good old Joe has my only one.
How are you gonna preserve the body then? It's gonna rot. Yasho is just dumbfounded that just watched Ice just put a body in a fucking chest and just walked away with it. So, what was her name again?
Dreva.
Dreva. What is Dreva gonna do now?
She's still like bawling her eyes out into Mel's shoulder, since Mel is still currently holding her.
Okay, well, I'll let Mel be best Onesan in the world. I'm gonna go talk to her, see what her plans are. Ash, right?
Mm-hmm. She is currently facing the water, and she does not know that you are behind her. She's still crying, but she is at a point where she can speak now. Rick, you want to talk to Ash while Mel figures out what she's gonna say?
Yeah, I was actually gonna see what Mel wanted to say, but yeah. Mel, you want to go first or should I? Oh, there you have it.
Dreva wipes her face, and she says in response, What?
What?
What kind of question is that? You can clearly see how I feel right now. And I'm not I'm not going to go and run off the cliff, so can you please let me go?
Hold her tighter. She needs love. Oh!
Drava looks at your hand and her expression reads, "What the hell are you doing?"
I ship it. I ship it really hard.
Good. That's a rough draft.
And
But you're good with
she's
that doing Riku.
okay. She's still looking at you. Same what the hell expression on her face at you, when you start chuckling and whatnot.
Alright. That's a little bit I was gonna say.
Well, I can't really do that with you and yours here trying to stop me.
Would be a waste. Look how pretty she is. I say that out of character.
So what now? Are you gonna go off and try to stop whatever his name is, or throw me in jail or something? Then why are you acting the way that you are with me? I don't want to stay like this for now, as you put it. Because, sooner or later, something's gonna happen. You won't be here. And what do you mean, why not? We are strangers. And you're holding me as if you've known me for years.
Just holding her without consent.
Oh my god. She's going for it! She's going for it!
There is no way that could ever be possible. I don't believe in different lifetimes. Different dimensions exist, yes, but lifetimes, no. You only get one shot at life. Unless you get reanimated like Priya was. But you only get one shot. That's it.
One opportunity. Would you capture it or let it slip?
It wasn't successful because you fucking stopped me. There's plenty of things to prove it wrong. I'm just not the one to do that.
I'm just waiting for her to step outside the village, like, and I just come by, it's like, time for that death match I've been waiting for.
Oh my god.
It's edgelord.
What did you just call me, and what does that even mean? Is that some
I think she was
bullshit
referring to
phrase
me,
from
yeah.
where you people come from?
Oh, no, never mind.
What a stupid phrase. Don't you all have something you need to go do? I'm not going to go anywhere, so you might as well just drag me out of here on my ass and throw me in a cell or something.
That's putting it lightly.
I'm not going to act like I know what that means, and I don't want to know what it means. And if that's what the word pessimistic means, or if that's what that phrase means, and there's a lot of other people like me out there, I guess. She stands up to her feet and she begins to walk away from you and make her way towards the portal, as she has had enough of conversation and just wants to get out of this place already. Okay. Yeah, sure, you can have that conversation with Ash now if you want.
Hey. As Yashua casually strolls over where Ash is. Wait, what am I narrating? Just taps her shoulder.
You are
Yashua.
oh, I'll try to remember that. You aren't gonna interrogate me too, are you?
Oh no, not at all. Besides, don't you remember? You're innocent. You were just dragged in for a ride.
Yeah, I suppose. I didn't even know there was all this otherworldly, other multi-dimensional threat that was going on around me, and well, I was ignorant to it all this time until, well, a few minutes ago. And it's a lot to take in. I'm trying to process everything.
I just wanted to know if you had any plans from now on, or have an idea what you were going to do. But if you don't want to tell, that's fine. Just simply curious is all.
Well, the thing is, I don't have anything planned because I was blindsided by all this just as much as you were, I'm going to assume. I want to help wherever I can, and I don't know. I guess find something new, and at some point Drava and I are gonna have a long talk about everything she didn't tell me up to this point.
Go easy on her. It's not all her fault. She was just misguided.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Well, we can talk more later. This place is starting to unnerve me a little bit, and I think I want to get out of here.
Good idea. Watch your step. I heard the water is very cold.
Oh, well, that's great to know. I'll be sure to watch my step.
Just to prove a point, Yashua flicks a bullet casing into the water and just instantly just freezes and shatters.
Ash takes notice of this, and she 100% believes you now. As you all go through the portal and leave this place, leave this space, you all, excuse me, you find yourselves back in the tavern.
I was gonna like casually just tap Devora, was it?
Drava.
Drava. I'm so bad at remembering names, Jesus. I was gonna tap Drava on the shoulder and just fuck. I was gonna say something to her, but I completely forgot. Some
Take
and
time
mending
to remember
words,
what
but
it was.
nah, it's fine. It's not important. Just some advice.
I just imagine I just trying to walk through the mayor and the wife, trying to stop me. It's like, oh, I'm about to go desecrate the body.
Yashua hops out of the portal, hits the ceiling.
You bump your head on the way out.
Yep. Fuck.
And as you all come out of the portal vanishes behind you, and it is currently no longer accessible. You see Angela and Mayor talking amongst themselves and trading information between each other. Mayor is apprising Angela that the village is secure and ready for anything, and Angela has conveyed all of the information all of you have just learned over to him, and you can see him scribbling down on paper, and later, not now, you can ask him about what he was writing down. Once they finish their conversation, two of them approach you, and they say to you, "Okay, so we've talked. Everything here, I want to clarify, is secure, under control. I don't need to hide the fact that I have a large suspicion that things are going to get a little hectic here. And this is the first time ever that things have gone this south during the festival, during our annual festival. Assault on the village days before this behind. But you want to prepare for anything, so I'm going to advise all of you that you get as much rest as you need. Go to the inn, do whatever equipment management, whatever you need to do, because the moment things break out into battle, I don't see things calming down for quite a while. I have some more things I'm going to go check on. You don't need an escort back to the inn, but Mayor is going to accompany you there anyway, because he wants to do another round from the village before he himself takes his lookout position. And with that, Angela again leaves you all, and she leaves the tavern. And with that will be the end of this session. And I have now hit the stop recording button.